lines, but are you more impressed with just the defense today? Because I know you have a lot of pride in the way your teams have always played defense.
Yeah.
Look at a victory like today.
Well, we're number one in the nation in field goal percentage defense. So,
yep.
I mean, our kids guard. That's we score a lot of points off of we scored 22 points off turnovers. It means that we got our hands in the passing lanes, we got deflections, got steals. I know Cam's last two threes, even there at the end, were off turnovers. Our kids run to the line. That's not an accident. Obviously, whatever you see us do is something we're repetitiously practicing. We try to practice and play synonymous. We practice like we play, and we play like we practice. That's always been a big part of our program's success, and we have good players. DeJon has evolved and is very capable of playing different ways. He can score, he can orchestrate, he can manage the game. He had to learn how to do those things. When he came in here, he was just a wild colt, and he's matured. But he and Quentin are the reasons why kids come back to college. I mean, they knew they would get better if they came back here. They knew they were going to get coached, they were going to get held accountable, and they were going to be taught to play the right way. And both of them are tremendous students of the game of basketball. They love basketball. And confidence, teaching confidence is just as important as teaching defense or teaching a play or teaching rebounding. Believing in yourself and knowing that there is belief coming back the other way, unfettered. There's no questions asked. Last thing I want is kids to miss shots or make bad plays and peek over the sidelines to see what the reaction is. Quentin can't take a bad shot. DeJon has earned the right to make mistakes. Early on, last year he didn't, but this year he's learned how to play basketball. And you can look at his body language and their confidence. Our kids are very confident. In this COVID year, we're 20-3. That's an amazing thing to be that in this year. So I'm proud of them. But the stat that I'm most proud of today, and this shows you the growth of our team this year, is we had 27 assists and 5 turnovers. Half of those would have been tremendous. But they have 27 assists and 5 turnovers, and the unselfishness and moving the ball, letting it find the open man, and that guy jumping up and shooting with great confidence. And then when we shot and missed it, the ability to go get it. All those things feed into what makes us makes our culture what it is.
We'll go to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, where are things with possibly adding a game this week to the schedule?
Doesn't look like it's going to happen, probably.
That's all I want right now. You took my answer about the turnover, so thank you.
Okay.
We'll go to Chris Baldwin, the Paper City, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, you talked the unselfishness. Is this, most of your teams are pretty unselfish, but is this team even more than most? And where does that sort of come from, you think?
Well, the same place it all comes from. Nothing that we do is an accident. It takes work. It takes hours and hours and hours and hours of practice to be good at anything. Quentin's shot making. One of the things that we make sure our kids understand, just because you work hard, that you're not guaranteed to have success. But if you don't work hard, you're guaranteed not to succeed. And you have to be patient with success. It may not come today, it may not come next week. but you got to put the time in. You got to put time in the gym. You know, one of the things that one of the rules I have from my staff is that not everybody's a gym rat. So we have to be the gym rats. Our coaches have to be the gym rats. So instead of waiting on our guys to come to us wanting to get in the gym, we set up shooting sessions and pick and roll coverage sessions, film sessions. You know, we're constantly working at making these kids better, whether it's individually or within the team concept. But you know, teaching kids what shot selection is, teaching kids how to learn to play in traffic. Tremon's getting better at that. Tremont in high school would go 1-on-5. There's no such thing as a bad shot. He had to learn what a good shot was. Quentin had to learn what a good shot was. They all had to learn what acceptable shots were. Now, your best players that are shot makers, like Rob Gray had a little more freedom than some. Corey and Armani did. But they had to earn that. They didn't have it coming in. They earned it. Quentin has earned it. Marcus has earned it. And DeJon, you know, DeJon and I are so much on the same page now where I don't even, usually I'm the offensive coordinator. But Galen's senior year, Galen was the offensive coordinator. He ran the offense. He pushed it out of timeouts. I would run what I wanted to run. But during the flow, Galen knew exactly what to do. And DeJon's the same way. DeJon's our offensive coordinator. He has a good feel for what to run and who to run it for.
We'll go to Joseph Duarte with the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead.
Kelvin, especially in this COVID year, as you look at the progressions, whether it's better than November that you know, in December, January, February, as the calendar flips to March, how do you feel about where you guys are and what you've seen in terms of playing the way you are at the right point of the year, you know, that kind of stuff?
Well, a big part of it in this COVID year, Joseph, is good fortune. You know, Temple had a good win. South Florida won at Temple, then Temple came to Tampa and beat them. And so they stayed down there, and I think they were going to play Central Florida yesterday. So they were just going to go Tampa, Orlando, and stay down there. And one of their kids tested positive. That's unfortunate. That's tough. You know, you guys get lucky with this COVID thing. You know, we had a stretch there a couple of weeks ago where our kids didn't have any power, no water, 14 degrees. You know, we're trying to prepare for a basketball game. It's the last thing on those guys' minds. And our family had to all come together because Kellen and Lauren's power all went out. So the reason I mention those things is there's so many variables you can't control. But we really work hard to control our team. And the way we practice, the way we prepare is there's no deviance. There's no ups and downs. We work every day. And I think that has a lot to do with the consistency we have in our program from year to year. You know, we started on this journey in September with conditioning. October is October. We do October and October. It doesn't change. November this year was the same as November was last year, year before. It's always the same. December, you start off on your path and you're trying to get to a certain point, but you can't rush it. You have to be patient. But this team has handled the ups and downs. You're always going to have ups and downs. That's why there's been one team since 1976 to go undefeated. It's hard to do that because it's hard to be good every night. And you may not be very good one night when another team's great. You lose those nights. For all 355 teams, we're all the same. But we're 20-3 tells you a little bit about the program. What was our record last year? I can't even remember. 23 and something.
You were, let's see here. You were 23 and 8.
23 and 8. So year before that was 33 and 4. Year before that was 27 and something.
27 and 8.
Yeah. So, you know, just the consistency of the program. It's hard to do. Most people take that for granted because you just assume you're going to do it because it must be easy. It's not. It's not. When this season's over, we start again next year. It's a completely separate box. And you have to work at it. You have to get kids to believe. You have to break them and get them to do the right thing. But going into March for this team, we're coming together at the right time. But that's where we want to be. You know, I thought last year, I was excited to go to Fort Worth and play the conference tournament last year because I thought we were playing our best basketball at the end of the year last year. This year, doesn't mean you can't get beat. I mean, there's only one team that's going to finish with a win. Everybody else is going to lose. It's just a matter of when. Sometimes you have a bad shooting night. Somebody could get injured. The other team could get hot. There's so many variables in a 40-minute contest. But I like the progression that this team's made, and I really, really, really enjoy coaching them because we have such high character kids. It's a blessing. It really is a blessing. Win or lose, it's a blessing. I'm so fortunate and blessed to be able to work with this group.
We got time for 2 more questions, guys. We'll go to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Wichita State removing the interim label for Coach Isaac Brown?
Well deserved. You know, I think the underrated thing, overlooked thing there is Alterique Gilbert. That's what they needed. They had good players last year, but Burton wasn't a point guard. Alterique Gilbert's a point guard. Now you put him between Dennis and Etienne, that's a high level backcourt. And then they had the other kids were all back from last year. Everybody tells us about the kids that transferred. Well, I lost 4 starters too. But Alterique Gilbert, Etienne, and the job that Isaac did getting those kids to buy into his vision. And they've had bad luck, you know, not having to play SMU either time or not having to play Memphis at home. I guarantee you they would rather play those games. Sometimes the schedule breaks your way. But I text Isaac. We text each other one night, and I told him how proud I was for him, how happy I am for him. And, you know, good for Wichita State's athletic director. I don't know who he is. Good for doing the right thing, because that was the right thing to do.
Got time for one more question, guys. We'll go to Joseph Duarte, please. Joseph, go ahead.
Speaking of Wichita, have you been given any updates on where things stand in terms of how they're I think there's like a 75% rule in terms of the games played and factoring in the racer. Have you been updated on what the status is going into the last week?
No. I'm just trying to get ready for South Florida, and now I'll get ready for I'll meet with Chris and reach out to the conference to see what options we have. You know, with this COVID thing is, I mean, think about what I just said. Add a game. What are we talking about here? Where are we at in Mars? Is this the invasion of the body snatchers? I mean, did you just say add a game next week? That's the way this year's been. You don't know. I knew we were going to play this game, but look at the last game we played, Western Kentucky, at the end of February. Who knows, Joseph? I don't have a lot of answers, but but the questions I have will get answered here in the next day or so. But you know, there was an opportunity to play a couple of games, but wasn't good for us. You know, we got to have something that makes sense for us. But the only thing I'll say about all this scheduling stuff is I'm the head coach at the University of Houston. I don't coach anybody else at school. I make decisions based on what's best for our program.